Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavaतीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Let's all chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 11 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Jai Gurudev. I think we will use this session to recapitulate and share our takeaways, our understanding of the Bhagavatam, what touched us most, and recollect and recount those beautiful stories of devotion woven around Krishna, the whole background, how Rajima began the whole thing. And so it is open. Any one of us, I would recommend that each one of us shares at least something. Yeah. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. My takeaway is wherever you are, in whichever corner you are, what you have to get, you get. That's wonderful. Jai Gurudev.
Hari Om. The most beautiful thing about Bhagwan is just his corner of his eye, that dialogue which we had in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Kataksha Kirana Achant Namana Mohabdaye. Just his glance from the corner of his eyes is enough. So it started with the Kapil Muni, the kind of devotion, the Varaha avatar, that was the first, the beginning. And in that, Bhagavan came and asked that, because he did such a penance that Bhagavan was so happy with him. And he again and again asked him, what do you want? But he was so contented, he wanted nothing. And it is such a pinnacle of the bliss that Bhagavan is telling him that I want to be born as your son. And the kind of devotion he had, Kapil Muni is saying, okay, it is your, I'm not married also. So you have to see how you want to come. So everything happens as per his wish. It is all happening. We are just the instrument of his bliss and blessings. So then Kapil Muni, as we saw very beautifully, Rajima had explained how Devahuti came into his life, and then the kind of devotion Devahuti had, she waited, she did her all the duties as a wife, and she waited. So patience is another wonderful lesson I learned, that patience, you get everything. And then I will just leave it for everyone else to share. We can just have our contribution in the stories ahead. Dhanyavad.
Jai Gurudev. The Jada Bharata story, and also yesterday from Udhav Gita, pigeon was the representation of attachments that we as human beings, get entangled into, and then, which leads to misery. So it's a wake up call for us, and we should be aware that we keep our mind focused on Bhagwan, on Guru, and see ourselves as a role play in this lifetime and work towards it. Thank you.
Jai Gurudev. Ambarisha's story, so profound. He actually has so much of faith and devotion. And in the story, he says, if you have that much dharma, if you follow faith and devotion, if you have the Narayana and Vishnu, that dharma itself will protect you. Even that very angry she was. Durvasa could not do anything. Well, Vishnu could not do anything. Narayana said, you go and fall on his feet or ask forgiveness, then you will come out of this. So that is a really, very deep understanding of it. Thank you.
In that point, whenever you have devotion, Sudarshan Chakra stays with you as a protection. That was a good point. So you are not affected by, the Ambarish was not affected by the Durvasa Muni's sharp
For me, this ego, letting go the ego, like there are two places it was mentioned that Kalinga and Nardana, where the snake has multiple heads, and each one of them how the ego points out, and Krishna is dancing on it. So you're letting go your ego. And then there was other thing there where Yashoda, where she ties him up, trying to find the rope, where that rope has the distance, like a small distance. She couldn't tie it until, that was that ego. When she let go of that, you'd be able to do that. So, that is the one, the final thing, here. Again, other than this non-attachment to the things and objects and the desires, letting go your desires, and then this ego and attain the knowledge. And there's one other thing where Yashoda, not Yashoda, Devaki, she asked this God to be born in her, to be her son in the next birth. So when he asked something, she didn't ask for knowledge, what Rajima was saying. And so that was nice also, like, you asking for something that more shyest, so he those kind of things. But it was very nice, the whole program by her. She gave a lot of examples, connect with his avatar, how we are all within Krishna, and we ourselves the truth, that God. So that's what I that I think that's some lot more, but this was nice. Thank you.
Hariom, I just want to correct myself. I made a mistake. It was Kardama Rishi who did penance, and Bhagwan came as a son of Kardama Rishi and Devahuti. And their son was Kapil Muni, who gave Atma Bodh to his mother. Kshamyatam.
Jai Gurudev. The story of Markandeya, where he's actually in bliss. He does not know what Maya is, and how the Lord shows him what Maya is in that pralaya, when there is only water and this deluge everywhere. He finds this little baby putting his toes into his mouth, lying on a lotus leaf, floating afloat on this deluge. And he asks Bhagavan, what is Maya? I don't understand. People are talking about getting rid of Maya. What is it? And then he gives him a glimpse of how he's inhaled into that through the baby's nostril, through the baby's nostril. He goes in and he finds a whole universe. And in that, when he goes down and zooms down, he finds himself again in the deluge. He finds the baby. And that is when he gets he says, oh, this is Maya. That was a very, very, very profound story, just to bring to light how we are a dream in a dream in a dream. It is like that. The power of Maya, it engulfs all of us, all our senses, and takes us outwardly. But the way to moksha is to go within, and with utmost devotion to the path, with utmost focus on the path, holding on to him, with that devotion and that when you're so totally devoted, you're in that space where, and you will of course be given, shown the right direction. There will be a guru that comes into your life and then paves the way for jnana to happen. So the story of Markandeya was very, very profound.
Jai Gurudev, for me, it was like in the end when Krishna was about to go, not Krishna, it's Krishna, was about to go, and he had that smile. I was just imagining it, how what state he would be in, like he, he usne sab racha, he made all that was to happen, and he knew it from the beginning. And now when it was about to end, he had that smile, that what was to be happened, like it happened. And that's it, like he took his like responsibility basically as a god, to place everyone in his place as they were deserving, according to their deeds which they did, either good or bad, both ways. So it is that a small human mind, like the small I we have, we bring it out again and again. Reading Bhagavatam and of course Gita, this I factor is many times it is reminded in my mind, like though we know all that knowledge, we are in knowledge, we study, but sometimes it do arise, like the small I. You have to remind yourself again and again that this I have no like say, even the thoughts sometimes are so that you want to do something but you end up doing something. So it is that the thoughts also are not in your control. It is all that pravriti is playing, in that maya is playing. So it is just that you have to learn and relearn again and again to surrender and have 100% faith in, like we have in Guruji, have 100% faith, and it do give you results. When you resist, like when you resist a certain situation, you are opposing it, you are not letting it go through, you are resistant, you suffer more. And that moment you surrender and accept it, let it be, it will go away. It is there for me to learn something, and it is my prarabdha karma. So as soon as the thought comes, your inner being becomes so peaceful, and a strength comes within you, that forbearance come when you surrender, that forbearance automatically comes. So just this is just I wanted to say. Thank you.
What I liked was the depiction of how this world has emerged, like from the intention of divine to create this Maya, and how it evolved, Like in the beginning, it was just from the Brahmas. Like the evolution, it explains so beautifully. Only from Brahma the children were produced, and then from male and female. It exactly matches with the modern science uh, explanation of evolution. And then the story of mankind, Jivatma, that was by Puranjana. I think if I'm not wrong. Like how Atma wanted to be in the city of 9 gates, and then he marries like it's said that wife, and then it's beautifully depicted. That's what I liked. And then the Krishna's birth itself, like in the secret corner, that this is what Rajima was saying, that in the secret corner of your heart, when the divinity Chaitanya arises, then the shackles of uh, many concepts break, and then you are free. That way, in the jail, everyone goes to sleep, and then the chains are broken. Beautifully says the ego shackles are broken, and the prison doors open. That was also I liked. Thank you.
The Udbhava episode also was very, is like Krishna sends Udbhava to see the gopis, and how he was giving them his knowledge part, explaining about Atma, Anatma, and he he came back. Then again, Krishna said that you have to connect with them through the heart. With bhakti part was explained. So how we can connect more with bhakti to the divine, though we gopis, they were depicted that they were normal women of the village, uh, not very educated, doing household work. They did not have that knowledge, but they were so into this bhakti, or that they were soaked in this divine, that, and how the cloth episode about the Krishna took away the clothes. So that is all like the gopi part and Udbhava. Uh, all these incidents were promoting like that bhakti. You have to think about Lord with the heart, and that is when you connect with him, or you feel one with him. Yeah.
Jai Gurudev. That Gopi episode, no, when they go to take bath in the Yamuna early in the morning, and they remove their clothes and go into the water, and that whole thing, the way Rajima narrated, it really opened my eyes that unless until you drop complete your identity with this body and mind, you will not reach the divine. And when they became completely helpless and uh, surrendered to Krishna, and when they raised their hands, that please give us our clothes. That moment, it immediately they got dissolved into the divine. They reached the divine. That thing I like very much. That what is keeping us away from experiencing the divine is even the iota of I-ness and ahankara is there. Any kind of identity, we will not experience the ultimate. It's a very beautiful takeaway, I feel so, which is very. Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Jai Gurudev.
Yeah, Madhuriji, this was really very beautiful because it also means you give up body consciousness. Then you merge. Am I right?
Yes, very much, very much.
Yeah,
So,
this is about body consciousness. Once you give it up, like as if Krishna made gopis realize that. Correct?
correct.
Yeah, can you continue? Just want to say.
And Swami Chinmayananda says this in just 2 words: undress and embrace.
Yes.
Some person wants to know the gist of Vedanta. He says, I'm in a hurry, I don't have much time. Can you just give me the gist of Vedanta? And when Swami Chinmayananda tells him, just in 2 words, undress and embrace, that person, of course, he's not ready to take this knowledge. He understands it differently. So he leaves away. But then in just those 2 words, we just have to undress, remove all those that we are not, and embrace who we are.
These 2 words are the crux. Thank you.
Yeah, that reminds the two, like, no me, no mine, only divine.
Wow, did Raji say that again? No me.
No me, no mine, only divine.
Wow.
These were Rajima's words.
Yeah.
I love the way she gave all the captions. I have, it's still in my mind. The way she described Rukmani's love for Krishna, also the way she writes word Bhuvana Sundara. Bhuvana Sundara, that word also, we can all be like that, no? Bhuvana Sundara, to meet our Krishna. Gunan Bhuvana Sundara.
More and more we are doing this knowledge. I feel so, it's more and more intuitively our day-to-day life is just happening. We can feel so that I am not doing. At that moment, what is needed, it is happening through us. This is only because of this early morning knowledge. No? It is becoming more easy to go into the witness. It's a very beautiful journey, actually. Jai Gurudev.
And the story of Bhagirath and how Shreyas versus Preyas. Shreyas is if you're in sync with what the universe wants you to do and you're just doing that, it happens effortlessly. Whereas what Bhagirath did, had to try so many times. Each time Ganga was like getting into, first of all, to bring her down from the heavens because of the force, because of her, she was coming down with all that arrogance, not really arrogance, all that full force. And then that, in order to control that, he needed to pray to Lord Shiva, and then he matted her in his knots, did not leave even a little trickle. So then again he had to pray to him. So a little trickle came down, and then she goes into this say Janvas. He swallows her, and he prays to him. Bhagirath had to do that. Prayers was there so much. He had to put in a lot of his efforts each time. Whereas the story of Ambarisha is all about, he didn't need to do anything. The Sudarshan Chakra was protecting him even from the curse of Durvasa. So the benefits of doing sadhana, especially Rajima highlighted in the story of Ambarisha, the importance of this Ekadashi Vrat and the beautiful meaning of Upavas, how she brought it up. When you're engrossed in the divine, so much so that you forget that you have to eat. It is not like you are imposing yourself not to eat, but that you're so engrossed with the divine. That is Upavas. And when you do that regularly, how it gives you that mantle of protection. She even mentioned, even when she does a few mistakes, that they just get washed away. They don't come to not come to light, but they just pass away, just like that. Not that she wantonly does the mistake, but by unintentionally, if some mistake happens through her, they just get washed away. So this Upavas, when we do this every day, every moment, then that will become total bhakti.
Did you have, I know we didn't get the last part of the CD. What was the highlights, like type of thing that I know we are doing the Manana, but I
think she ended the whole thing with the importance of bhakti.
Yeah, that's what the important.
He gave the Avadut, then the story of how Krishna is the last hour, what happened when the Yadu clan gets destroyed, Dwaraka gets submerged.
Yeah, that you read already. So that was nice.
That was what was there, if I remember, from the 7th CD.
Yeah, like for our own self, like summarized, she started, like you said, she gave some background of Bhagavatam, and then she went on to describe each avatara, right? And each avatara, how she put it, like Baraka avatara, and then Narasimha avatara, she said, and then she went on to do the Mathya and Kurma. Kurma avatara, but by doing that, what do you call that, Amrita, to get the Amritam from there. And then the Matsya avataram is, he took the fish form in the I forgot.
This was just before the deluge. There is pralaya happening. So he gets into this. The sage is doing his daily prayers.
Oh yeah, it came with the heart.
Taking the thing, he gets into his hand. Yeah. So he says, "Oh, this little fish." So he puts it in his kamandalu, and the fish actually talks to him. He says, "Don't leave me alone." take me, can you please save me? Because the other bigger fish
Is
will
it
eat me.
a sage Markandeya? What is the name of it?
No, I don't think
Different
that.
name.
Manu. Manu, sage Manu.
Manu, okay, okay. And he, yeah, right. It did keep growing and growing, and then they leave him in the ocean, and it has a horn. You know, with the horn, he takes that pulls that boat, and he saves those 7 rishis. That was the thing. He was Matsya Avatara, and then he talked about Parashurama. She talked about Parashurama, and then Rama, Krishna. And they were, she gave lots of points connecting with our lives, right? Even though some of the stories, how to connect with that one, I wanted to write it down as I was listening to it, but it was kind of traveling and all that. I'm sure you guys brought up some of the points. That's good.
She asked the question in the very first episode at the end of it as to why did the Lord take the avatar of Varaha, a wild boar, to save the earth. I don't know if they had a discussion on that in their group, but we didn't see it in the CD.
Varaga, why did he take that? Because it was submerged in the water or something that he became a boar form and brought it up.
Yes, but she asked this question, why did Lord take the form of a boar?
But
a wild boar?
that's what to save, he takes any form. Like it's not
Yes,
just
yes.
one
Yes,
form
yes.
or the other. Yeah. He is not like this form or that form. It not matter. That's what I remember, but she was explaining
Yeah.
it.
She also explained the reason why he took tortoise and why he came as Narasimha. All that was spoken about in the stories that she narrated. But this particular one, I did not get. Why did the Lord take the form of Varaha? And somewhere I heard that because of the pollution that was created by Hiranyaksha, and the world is submerged in the ocean. So what is the connection between the impurities that happened in the earth and Varaha Avatar? Anyway, this is something else. I'm sorry, I digressed.
No,
No, so I think you're right. We didn't discuss that because she asked us to, give a thought on that. And even I was thinking, why Varaha? Maybe it is just the evolution, from Matsya to the land
now I
animals.
remember she asked to do a homework to figure it out.
That's right.
I know. I remember that part. Yeah.
Of all the animals, pigs, I mean, Varaha is a wild boar or a wild pig, right? So pigs are those that move around in slush and dirt. And so probably, I don't know, because the world was so steeped in evil, which signifies all dirt. Probably that is why Varaha Avatara. He had to.
That's what even I heard from another group. This explanation that the pigs and the boars, they feed on the filth in the earth, and I don't know how they transform it to goodness, whatever. And so that is why God took the form of Varaha. And one more thing, Varaha and land is connected. I don't know the story about that, but how is Varaha connected to land, Mother Earth. That is something, if any of you come to know, please share.
Lord Varaha, actually, there is a temple, a separate temple for him in Tirupati, Tirumala, actually. So he is known to have given the space for Lord to manifest. He has given the king, the then king, the land to construct the temple, so to say. So that is one. And second, for me, the one thing that she said, this cool blue guy who's always reclining, and he is shameless, so shameless. Why? Because he is completely free of ego, takes total responsibility, and he can come in any shape. The other reason for Varaha Avatara is probably because people look down upon certain creatures, like the pig. It's all filthy. It has its feet steeped in all that dirt. So maybe it is a way to say that the divine exists in everything, even in a pig, in a wild boar that is steeped in filth. So probably that is one of the other reasons why he took the shape of a wild boar.
My little understanding, it is the only creature, I think it can survive both on land and in water. This is my guess.
He's not amphibian, he's a land animal.
Mm.
But though the boars can swim, I mean, most of the animals can swim in the water, but he's not amphibian. Amphibians are tortoise.
Tortoises, yeah.
Yeah. So, according to my understanding, it is the evolution from water animals, then the amphibians, and then the land animals, then the dwarf.
Mm. It starts with Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana.
The most important and the most beautiful thing is he is always putting his bhakta first. He has, even while leaving his physical body, he had Uddhava in his mind. That was very striking for me. He did not remember neither Radhaji nor Rukmaniji or anybody else, but he remembered Uddhava. And the beautiful thing Rajima said, that because he took the human form, he wanted all of us, the whole mankind, that he is leaving this physical body also with that pain and suffering. And so the kind of example he has set for the whole humankind, the suffering he faced right from the childhood till he left his physical body. And the devotion he taught us, that his bhaktas are always his priorities, whether it is Dhruva or Prahlada or whoever it is his priority. So we are always in his to-do list, first priority. We have to be very proud of that.
Yeah. Because each of those days, a new revelation happens. So I'm not able to really pick one or two and say this struck me. I think every day something struck me. And I've been going through this in my mind, that what sort of a devotee am I? And I'm not able to place myself in any category. So I'm still in that state of finding out where do I fit in this God's
You are
creation. What is the purpose? I'm still, even this morning I had that same question, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? And where do I fit in the God's scheme of things? So that apart, I loved the Markandeya story where we are inside the breath of Lord Narayana, Bhagwan. And Rajima said, no, so why are you afraid? Because you are in the protection of the divine breath. So where is the fear? Where is the worry? Why all this anxiety and all that? So that day I just couldn't sleep. I felt very happy. Then the other thing was about the Rasa Leela. Because next day when he danced with the gopis and he cloned himself into each one's partner, everyone thought that Krishna was dancing only with that particular gopi. I think most of us do feel that special. Sometimes I do feel I'm special and God is only mine and that sort of a thing. And that's when the God disappeared. And I felt, wow, this again was another revelation that, yeah, it's good to feel that God is mine, but to feel that you are the only one that God loves and therefore you're special, that is not right. That way of thinking is not right. And that's when the God disappears. That was another revelation I had. And yesterday was about the sun. The sun picks up water from the earth, not from the ocean and the water bodies, not for himself, and comes down as rain for the whole of the earth and benefits everybody. And this is something I didn't look at the sun as that. I mean, though all this water cycle and all, we know it scientifically and intellectually, but the fact that the presence of the sun picks up the water not for the sun, but to replenish or re-nourish the earth. And that is how Bhagwan is. That whatever he's doing, we think, oh, why is this happening to me? Or why are good people suffering and bad people enjoying? All these questions that come. When I related it to this, why is the sun doing whatever it is doing its niyati. And it is benefiting both the good and the bad and the whole of creation, but the sun has not benefited anything from it. So that is how the God loves this creation. And every time he took an avatar, he gave liberation, irrespective of whether he's a asura or a deva. So that is what I got from yesterday. And also about the sun shining in different water bodies as little puddles or big ocean or river or even in the hoof prints of a horse. Whatever is the capacity of that little puddle, the sun shines fully in that. And it's only a reflection. So these things kind of opened up something in me yesterday.
Yeah,
So
even I could connect with this because many a times we have many skills and we take pride in those, but then we don't use those skills for betterment of mankind. So we are born with special skills which should be used for betterment of the society or something like that. Somehow I could connect with that.
yeah, and I told my husband also about how the sun is picking up water not for himself, but for this earth. And for the first time, my husband was very quiet. Normally, if I start sharing some spiritual knowledge, he will always counter with something and I will not have an answer. So yesterday, he didn't have an answer.
You know that question about Varaka avatar. I was just quickly reading it about basically, when in front of Vaikunta. Remember, she gave the meaning of what Vaikunta is without like where um, is Sri Vishnu is Anantasayana, and then his the entrance is guarded by these two gods, Vijaya and what is the other name? Avijaya, Jaya and Vijaya. And they wouldn't let, there was Brahma's sons who come to see Lord Vishnu. They said Lord Vishnu is resting, so they won't let him in. So the son got mad and they cursed these two gods to become human in the earth. So hearing that sound noise in the gate, that Lord Vishnu comes to see what's happening, and he found that the Brahma sons who cursed um, these two gods. So Lord Vishnu says, because these two gods are protecting his Vaikuntha, he says, I will take care of you, but you go as a human, but your death will be in my hands, but then you will be relieved from that birth and come back here. So then Brahma says he cannot make those, he cannot kill his own sons because the that that's the name, you mentioned some what is that, Krinash, and then the Krinyakasibu, or some two names, right? And so he cannot kill, so Brahma goes into penance, and then Lord Vishnu comes out of his nostril as Varaka, like little boar, but then he grows and grows in big, and then he goes to the ocean where this Hiranyaksha makes his thing, and he goes and uh, protect him, and then he takes care of these two guys, the Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashaya. So that's what I read here.
Yeah, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. These were the two brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. That time on the earth, that Manu is and his wife Shatra Rupa, who is ruling over there, they go to Lord Brahma and ask him, to protect us or something. That's when the Brahma goes and doing the penance. And I'm trying to see why the reason isn't given here. Mm.
But the answer, like why Vara only, like Earth could be holded by hands or maybe something, or it is because it is revolving.
Only because I think he grows into really big, so he can goes into the deep, because he pushing to Bhatal Loka, which is below the ocean. So he had to. The wild boar has a thick horn thing, right? So he has to dig into that mud, the ocean floor, and get the earth out of it.
Oh, right. Thank you.
And the whole story around how Bhagavatam is told to Parikshit by Shuka Brahma, how he puts that snake around the sage when he does not respond to his call, when he's very thirsty. So it just brings up the base human tendencies. No matter how big you are, you can still be overpowered by these emotions. He was very angry because he was not given the respect that he thought he deserved. And he had to atone for that, because the rishi's son curses him, saying you'll be killed by a serpent in 7 days. And how he takes that curse, he realizes it, that he made such a grave mistake, and he wants to go back and seek pardon, when the son is again told by the father, what did you do? You've cursed such a noble king. If he is not there, who will take care of the kingdom? So then both of them are coming to repent and kind of seek pardon. But then, since the curse cannot be reversed, he says, he then directs him to Shukha Brahma, the 7 days. How do I spend these 7 days? He could have spent it doing anything else. But being a noble king he was, being devoted, he is given the right direction, and he gets to listen to the story of mankind, the story of himself. The whole story of Bhagavatam is nothing but the story of each one of us. No? So many different emotions, different situations. You can actually place yourself in every one of them. And how the Lord directs everything. There is nothing that goes without being accounted for.
Which one you're
Every
saying?
word
Sorry.
is saying.
This is
Parikshit,
the beginning. Yeah.
this is the beginning.
Right. And that Janamejaya is the son of Parishit after that, after him. Yeah, there are two kind of stories, but this is about Parishit, who's getting this Bhagavatam from Sugar, who is the son of Vyasa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the other
How
one is
Vyasa, after codifying all the Vedas and everything, Mahabharata, everything he's written, but he's depressed. So that is when sage Narada comes to him and tells him, you've been all in the left side of your brain. You've been very intellectual, analytical, all of that. So what you require is bhakti. So write the story of the Lord. That is when he starts writing the Bhagavatam. So therefore, bhakti is so important. Otherwise, it becomes very dry Vedanta. If you're just listening to just knowledge without this element of bhakti,
yeah.
there is no rasa in that.
How Narada comes to explain that to him, right? Like that's also nicely, she depicted it nicely. Yeah.
And I could see
Also,
that this is all these stories came out because of the one principle: opposite values are complementary, and because of there was so much of churning with good and bad, some lessons come out of it. That was so beautifully put over here. Because he did some mistake, we all are learning, or we got to know the Bhagavatam. Because there was Samudra Manthan, so many things came out of it. So there has to be good and bad in this, and it is there.
yeah, because every when you read the Ramayana, Mahabharata, all of that have depicts all of the things, right? Good, bad, angry, and desires. All these things, how it pushes people around and what they face in their life after that. So basically, it said what you Vedavyasa, Guru Vyasa is saying that he was worried about all these Kali Yuga people, because the Kali Yuga people not as having memory as much as in the other yugas, that are trying to do the tapas or the meditation or all the difficult ones. This, at least they can benefit from the bhakti yoga, and that will lead us to attain this shreyas. And other thing is also the Veda and Upanishads are all in that language where common people don't have access to those days, and also they may not understand it. So these Idikasas and Puranas are kind of simplified versions of it, so people can understand and relate to it a little bit better. And that's also another thing that was said in this Bhagavatam. And again, that Bhakti Yoga is like one of the easiest form of it to pursue and attain Shreyas.
Yeah. And somewhere, I don't know where I heard it. I don't, if you have heard it, please let me know. That when Narayana came down as Krishna, everybody wanted to come and participate in the Lord's Leela. So many people came down, like even those two trees. I don't remember, some Gandharva, is it somebody, or
all of them
somebody?
actually brought devas from the earth to make the Leela, like that's why he wanted to take all of them back.
Yes,
Before, so that's
and
why
he
they let him
and
fight.
even the gopis, I read somewhere or I heard somewhere that the gopis were they also came down. Actually, they were highly exalted rishis, the jnanis, and they wanted to come with Krishna avatar and experience devotion, the highest form of devotion. They had reached the highest exalted knowledge as rishis. So now this time they came down as these gopis who are not interested in knowledge and all that, but wanted that exalted devotion. Have you heard this story anywhere? That
Yeah, I also heard this. Yeah.
The
I
gopis
also
were,
heard this.
yeah, they are the rishis, already full drenched in knowledge. So now this time they came and got drenched in devotion. So whenever Gurudev used to say, no, oh, these gopis, no, ordinary housewives, not educated and all that, I used to think, actually, they are highly educated.
But the
So
other part of the education is not there yet, so we still have to read a lot. One of
highly
the
knowledgeable, not educated, they already know what the divine is. But they
yeah.
came to experience what is exalted bhakti.
But even that's what they say, right? Even devas don't have this higher the knowledge is meaning about this Atmanjana is not there, or even in devas too, because they also have to learn that. So I don't know. I mean, that's what we read in the early part of the
Yes,
Gita. Yeah.
yes. That in that Guru Puja chanting, it is there, no? Yadvare Nikila Nilimba Parishad. The entire assembly of gods is waiting in front of the divine for this knowledge. Very correct.
What I got was that in the first 2 days of the Bhagavatam rendition, uh, where there is conflict being shown, mostly between Devas and Asuras. And there, what I understood from the stories narrated was that the Devas also had some negative qualities like fear and anxiety. And for saving themselves, they would rush up to Brahma, or they would rush up. Even Indra Dev had the fear anxiety with him when some rishi was meditating, and he would do something by which that penance would be broken. So what we consider as asuras having equal qualities and devas having good qualities, there is no complete black and complete white. And like there are gray areas in everybody. The asuras have also risen to that strength because they had some amount of goodness in them. The devas had good qualities in them, but they also had fear, anxiety, etc., the negative qualities also. And that is what is the conflicts in the mind. And only once the conflicts in the mind were resolved by the higher divine force, then the divine could enter within to our minds, was what I got from that. And then like by performing the highest level of penance, the rishis got to a level where they got siddhis and they were more powerful even than the devas. They could even curse the devas, etc. And then whenever there is high level of destruction, then the divine would come back and save the world again and again. When evil is about to triumph over good, then he makes his entry in some avatar. Was all the stories that went on. And seeing that in the last a little bit of sadness that we were overcome with when it was said that Krishna was to leave his body. But there also it is shown that there is so much of dispassion. His own kinsmen were killing each other. And that high level of dispassion taught me a lot. Like how when we lose our near and dear ones, we get affected. He was waiting impatiently for them to come to an end. And then too, at that stage, he was guiding someone to go and then save people in Dwarka, take the old people away, the children away, the females away, and tell Arjun to take them to with him to Hastinapur. So because the Dwarka was going to be flooded. So even at the time of death, he was thinking about others. And really, it was the whole journey of Bhagavatam was mind blowing for me. Like I learned a lot out of that. It is the devas, the rakshas are all in our own minds. Like it is not that they are two separate groups of human beings or whatever classifications. Asuras exist in our mind and the devas also exist in our mind. Only when the conflict comes to an end, then the divine can enter. And then when the divine enters and you can give pure love, unconditional love, then that is bhakti. Then you merge with the divine. That is what I got from this. Only when you
Yeah.
spread unconditional love to everybody in general, there is nothing like right or wrong. The devas also did some mischief. The asuras also did some mischief. But it was like the divine did not sit in just to justify that they were right or wrong. He never
Yeah.
interfered. He never became judgmental. He just accepted him the way they were.
Yeah, but in the one place where Parashura, like, see, when he said the patience, he also used that patience to overcome this. I mean, to kill Jarasandha. He knew he couldn't. That's not the right time for him to do it, and then he waits until and takes Bhima to because he has the skill with the bow and arrows or whatever, and he doesn't have that Kada uh, um, fighting with Kada, so he gets Bhima to help him to do it. So that also, like, that part also talks about how his timing is of you want to achieve something. If doesn't you have to wait for the right timing also. With your strength, you knows your strength and you do it. I mean, but you can achieve it. So if you can achieve it at this point, that not dwell on it and trying to figure out the other ways to do it. That was also a nice lesson from that.
Also, that the
Yeah.
karma the divine does not interfere in your karmas. Like you have to go through it yourself. The karma cycles that also came out in all the stories very well. And then when you finally surrender, whether you have done good or evil, then he can uplift you to a higher level.
Yeah, I like that Ek, where Rukmini or Satyavama, she makes the food for Rishi Durvasa and then trying to take the food across Yamuna River, and she hears from the same thing we learned from another way, but this way here he said Ek Patni Vrata, and then there the Durvasa says he didn't eat the food. So
not Ekapatni Vrata, Brahmacharya, Nitya Brahmacharya.
I know that's what we learned, but in this particular one, this is what she mentioned. That's why I didn't understand why she said Ek Patni Vrata like that, so I didn't get the
Little
answer.
changes here and there. I think that we should discount. But from one version to the other, there may be a little changes. What
Changes, yeah.
Navrat told us was Ekapatni Sada Brahmacharya.
Brahmachari, right?
It's okay, Ekapatni Vrata. So that
Yeah.
little odd change will be there from version
Is
to
this
another.
Ek, but there's two meanings, right? When you say Eka, that is Eka is one meaning, and in Tamil Ega means like a lot also meaning. So I
No,
was
this
a
is
little
in
confused.
Sanskrit. So Eka is,
Sanskrit.
yeah, so it
Eka.
is
Okay.
Ekapatni
Eka.
Vrata, yeah.
Okay. Eka Patni Vrata. That means he's one person, right? Even though he married to, I mean, in numbers, but then they all come down to one Lakshmi like that. I don't know. But then the other one, Durvasa, that was nice, where he put the food in his mouth and says Krishna every time he said Krishna when he put the food in the mouth, right? That's why
Krishna
he
Arpanam.
didn't.
Krishnarpanamastu.
He said it for everything. He said Krishna Arpanam.
Yeah, that's why he says, I have not eaten. He says, I'm a Sada Vrat. He the one who keeps Vrata all the time.
Right. Yeah. He says he didn't eat it, so then the river would fall.
Yeah,
Or,
Nitya Vrata.
Nitya Vrata,
Yeah.
thank you. Nitya
Yeah.
Vrata.
So if that's the case, so he said it every mouthful. He said, Krishna Arpanam, Krishna Arpanamastu. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I remember that story even from Mahabharata. That he takes Krishna comes to Draupadi and she tell me where the food, that Akshaya Patra, and then there's only one little piece of food there, and he takes it and put it in his mouth, so that the Durvasa gets says, "Oh, I'm full. I feel like ate six. The 6 course food." Yeah. So he remembers why he wants to do that, because Durvasa always gives food to him, so he gives the food back to Durvasa. That was nice story.
Also, how Krishna managed 60,108 women. How it is not that he sought them. Fathers implored on Krishna. They begged Krishna to take them. The only one he got married to
yes, right.
was
Yeah.
Rukmini.
All
the others, Rukmini is Mahalakshmi, and then all the Ashtalakshmis that came around. Those were the 8, and all the other 60,100 were the ladies that he freed from Narakasura. Narakasura has come.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember that story also. Yeah, where he comes and fights with the Narakasura.
So he talks about how beautifully it is not with lust. When even consciousness is not there. There is only love. That's pure love. And he does it See, because there are lots of people out there who put down Krishna and who says, oh, he's a womanizer. For us to understand from what space Krishna had come from, and in order to be able to stand ground I wouldn't say justify. We don't need to justify what Krishna did to anybody. Non-believers are anyway non-believers. But then for us to be grounded in our own conviction, it is important for us to know from what space this happened. It is not like, isn't it? So that opening, that realization was very, very nice, the way she brought it out.
Yeah, it's not like, in another way, like look at it, like you stand in front of Krishna, even its idol in the temple, it just that's why I put this unconditional love. It just comes out. You don't have to it may or may not happen with everywhere, but he is so I don't know, I can say it's easygoing, but he's very attractive, maybe that way. The attractive meaning not in a physical way, it's just more of in that, his qualities, knowing everything about Krishna is naturally you fall for him. So that is probably what happened with all this gopis and all the other those gopis, where they talk about in Vrindavan and all that. And this, so that Vrindavan gopis are different from the one from the Narakasura, is it? That one?
Yeah. And Vrindavan is the gopis. They have their own, most of them are married already. They are gopis because they are the wives of cowherds. That is gopi. Whereas the 60,100 odd women that frees from Narakasura are princesses from various kingdoms that this Narakasura captures, and then he enslaves them. And then the story of Rama was also so wonderful in that not a change in his face when he's told by Kaikeyi, this is what your father, this is what I asked of your father, and this is what has to be done. Next day he has his coronation, and he's called and he's told, not a change in his face. That how often we are, I'm just talking of myself, when I'm in such a situation, how I get so, captured by, because there is still that ego is there, and it is easy to get affected. The one thing that that the takeaway from Rama's thing is, no matter what, there was no change in his face. He maintained his equanimity, and then and that complete obeying his father's word without a doubt, without asking a question. I mean, that is the highest. I mean, if you can emulate that.
Yeah, when you see Ramayana, I mean, when I see many meaning, like I also watch some of that episodes on that Ramayana, but even when you read it, his first and foremost, thing is to respect his father and take care of his wishes as his duty. That is the one way to, and then of course he respects elders and his teacher, guru, and that's why he doesn't ask any question about why I should do this, why I shouldn't, like that. And then he also took care of his brothers, like his their happiness is his happiness, kind of. So he was so good with his siblings as well.
I think there was a question also, some university professor asks, why do you consider Rama as God? He left his wife. How heartless he was. And in answer to that, this is what she gives. And she says, can, we keep pictures of Maradona and Michael Jackson and all that because there is something great that we find in him.
Who
But
is Maradona inside? I
Maradona,
know she can.
footballer from Brazil.
Oh, Brazil.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Argentina. He's an Argentinian footballer. He was
Oh, true.
one of
Yeah,
the greatest
it's true.
footballers.
Yeah. Mm. But
But then,
there's no question about it, right? I mean, he is for the as a king. He didn't want to. He want to be a leader for the all the people. So even one person asking such a question,
yeah,
he even though he is so dear and near to Sita, he suffers inside separating from Sita. But then again, he has to be an example
he's
for
he's in the position of power, so he has to maintain that.
that.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
the same thing
Mm.
with Krishna when the Shamantaka money is stolen and he is
Mm.
wrongly accused. So he cannot have said, "Oh, use the knowledge point. I will not be a footballer of others' opinion and stay quiet."
Yeah.
He has to, in people in that position of power, will have to take those steps to
Yeah.
kind of erase that misconception that people have. It is not like you're becoming a football of others' opinion. It is only to clarify. Same thing Rama did. Same thing Krishna did when
Yeah.
Django and
Everything is more like a
told.
dharma. And, yeah, following dharma and also justice to be, like I, in a way, people see it. Oh, how what Rama did is not right. That sending Sita away, and of course Sita also suffered a lot. But then again, that I don't know what you can say about it, but you know, he did what is the right thing to do. That's what it seems. That's why Rama is worshipped as God.
Maradona,
I want to go back
has,
to
he has his dark side of him. Whereas Rama, no matter what you take in whatever he's done, he's a
Mm,
Maryada. He has stood for
yeah,
dharma throughout. He stood for dharma, and so many qualities and virtues that you can emulate from him. Of course, you
yeah.
will worship him as a hero, as a god. So that will
Mm,
silence all these people who, that is why I think we all should be come back to our
leading.
culture. This is the way, so that
Yeah,
our faith in our culture, faith in the myth, and how so beautifully she started off with that myth, that great 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 grandmother's
oh
craft
yeah, that
that the mother keeps in
embroidery
the
stuff.
in
Yeah.
the altar. No? So the
Mm-hmm.
myth. So there can be questions. Oh, did all this actually happen? Was this true? Was the Lanka bridge, the bridge that was constructed by the Vanara army, was that true? So we might have
Mm,
all these doubts, but this is when we go back to that myth and say, no, there has to be some truth to all of this. So that faith develops, the faith
yeah,
becomes strong.
because it's really happened. That's what it is,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm.
I mean, some people believe it or not, we all believe it, and it is true. And there
So
is
I
recently
want to
also.
go back to
Go
the
ahead.
gopis. Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to go back to the gopis part. Gopis of Vrindavan, uh, at that time, Krishna was only 10, 11 years old. I think when he was 14, he left Vrindavan. And the other
Was 8 or 10.
16,100.
Yeah.
Huh?
8 or 10 years old. That's what she mentioned. Like she didn't say one number. I know she kept on. It's the 8 year or 10 year old, like that kind of number
Yeah.
she said. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Rasalila happened around that age, 10, 11
Mhm.
years old. And
Right.
he left Vrindavan when he was 14. And after that, he met the gopis only, in the end when he had that mela.
Mhm. Right.
And this 16,100 women he freed happened after he married Satyabhama. So
That's a
mm,
61.
16,100 women. They were imprisoned by Narakasura, and Satyabhama only kills Narakasura.
Is it
Right.
60,000 or is it 60,000?
I thought it was 60,000. Then Satyabhama killed, he brings Satyabhama because that's her son. That's why, and also Narakasura to be killed by a woman. That is,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So the reason.
It is 16.
16,
it is
right?
16.
Because
1
16.
6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I heard
16.
it
1
as
6.
60,000. Uh-huh.
16.
No. 16,100.
100. And
Yeah.
somewhere
So that is
Rajima,
at a. So
go
that
ahead.
is. Sorry, I'll just complete this. So at that time, Krishna was a grown-up adult, probably in his 50s or 60s or whatever. But gopis were in his growing up years, pre-adolescent years. Thank you. Just a
So
little
somewhere
clarification about
Rajima had,
gopis.
yeah, thank you. Somewhere Rajima had mentioned when Krishna arranges this, organizes this love mela, he invites everybody in with respect to Silver Jubilee celebrations and the WCF. Rajima actually mentioned that. I'm not sure whether she was there up to WCF. I can't remember when she passed away, but she had mentioned Gurudev in bringing all of them together is, of course, there is no doubt that Gurudev is none other than an avatar. Absolutely no doubt to that. So she actually went to him and told him that he's redoing the whole Mela that happened 5,000 years ago. And there was a gentle smile on his face. So at that point, I remember she went to him specifically and asked him. Um, she mentions this. She shares this in one of her videos. Is that Gurudev, you've taken care of everybody else, but what about the youth, the Yadavas? It's because of the youth. The youth play that prank on that rishi. They, you know, put a they disguise this Shamba as a pregnant woman and they parade him and then they ask the rishi, please tell us whether it's going to be a boy or a girl. And that's when the rishi sees through their prank, and then he curses them that he will give birth to a pestle, and that
That's
will be
all.
the destruction of the whole Yadava clan. So the Yadavas who did all of this was the youth. They were misguided at that point. So Rajima specifically asks Gurudev, can you do something for the youth? And I think uh, I'm not sure whether the yes came up after that or well before that, but whatever. She had brought this thing about. She said the youth require your guidance and help, and
Oh,
so
this Rajima, you said she passed away?
yeah, she's no more.
Oh, sorry
I
to
met
hear that.
Rajima in 2016 WCF in Delhi. She
So
passed
she
away
was
after
there.
that.
She
Yeah,
was
she
there.
passed away after that. Yeah.
Right.
The thing that what do you call it? This Bhagavatam that she actually gave it in Milpitas or somewhere here only. When she keeps
Yes.
She
saying
gave it several places. She would do it
Yeah.
in India, several places, and whenever she would visit her daughter in the US, her daughter is still there. Meenakshi
Yeah.
Krishnan, I think her name is.
oh, she was
In fact,
asking Meena
Meenakshi
the
Krishnan
song,
also does
the
the Bhagavatam.
Kalinga, the Kalinga song she sang. It was
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
She's also a very good singer. She sang several of those Tamil like Tirupavai and even for Shiva Tandava. You remember that thing that Brihamunivar she talked about.
Mm.
It was so nice. She was so humorous and. All the time there were people who were laughing like like that.
Yeah.
It was so fun to have hear her, and
Yeah.
that Brihamuni, goes to Brahma first, and he's listening to Saraswati playing Veena, and then she's showing all this how Brahma is listening to Aha like that, and then Ananda Tandavam by Shiva and Lord Shiva, and then he goes to Vishnu, and Vishnu is sleeping like Ananta Shayana, this guy goes and kicks him on his chest. That was, how Vishnu got up and said, "Oh, nothing happened to your feet," even though he had a big dent on his chest. Shivatsa, that's another name I learned.
Revatta.
Shivatsa. And that was like how, like Brihamani, that story was. Um, I know Nana also had said this story before, and about Briha. It was nice. She really had a given. She kind of, I mean, I heard Srimad Bhagavatam in the other, like Shinmaya mission too, but the way she had a little different kind of take on it, like how she compared um, the story into the divinity, as well as the how should connect with all the knowledge points.
Yeah.
Especially the Advaita Bhav, no? Advaita Bhav and ultimate knowledge. With every story, she has connected it with ultimate knowledge and Advaita. That is
Yeah,
something very unique. So many
yeah, and then
Kathavachak, they just, with lot of devotion and emotion, they narrate all
put it
the
in a
stories.
fun way, relating to today's events. Like she put everything with SIM card and this and that and phone, a lot of things, like how he get disqualified and auto reject or something like that. She kept saying about all this stuff. It was really nice.
Is she
Yeah,
art of,
even My
she
Fair
was art of
Lady
living
and
teacher
Rasalila.
also? She was art of living teacher also?
She is an
Huh?
art of living. She was an art of
Yes,
living
yes.
teacher. Very
And she
much.
kind of made it as when we are reading Bhagavatam, like, she wore that mala and all that because you are like Krishna, like that kind of thing. I mean, Srimad Bhagavatam is about what she said. We are not
It is the
reading
form of
about God.
Narayana.
No, it's not
It,
about God. It is about it's God. Like Srimad Bhagavatam is God, like that. I,
yeah.
I I remember something like that she mentioned.
Yeah, there is a
It is
practice
a
when
story.
people earlier it
Mm.
used to happen in temples and all. So they would be worshipped first, put garland and all. People who do kirtan and they will tell the stories in the Puranas. Earlier, there used to be so many people. I mean, in those chaturmas and all, there would be this kind of saptas and all. So such people, they would put garland first. They will pray them and bring up the divinity in them.
Yeah, I mean, for any upanyas, they honor people, but then in this one, usually I don't remember. They do give it to them, but then this particular one, she put it in a special way, like
He said,
because
"No,
the
coming
Bhagavatam is
is not
God.
from my mouth. The words of what comes out from my mouth
Mm.
is from the divine. It is directly from there, from the source. So that is why she mentioned. It is so, I can see the path of it is just happening so effortlessly. It's so coincidental. Just nice to recollect and feel so blessed. We started the saptah. It was not intended that way. It just so
Mm.
happened that we started it on Krishnashtami. And we're
Mm.
doing during the Chaturmas, which is actually when during the Chaturmas, a lot of these saptas and all of this is happening. It will
Right.
normally a lot of
Right.
courses happen.
Yeah.
So once again, it just feels so reassured that the divine is just taking care of every little bit, every little detail. So I think on
Yeah,
that note,
especially when you have
wind
the
up
desire
today.
that you wanted to do. We all wanted to hear from Nana about this Srimad Bhagavatam, right? We kept asking, "Oh, can we do it? Can we do it?" Like, then said, "Okay, you do it now." So,
Yeah,
and then with your guidance, we are all moving forward. Thank you, Dr. Brahmara.
we're all just nimitta karanas, nimitta matram. That's it. We're
Yeah,
all
once
in this
when
as
you have
instruments.
that thought in your mind constantly, it happens. Like you wanted to read this, read that. Like we want to do this, yeah, and that happens. That much I see. I the last 2 years that we wanted to do, but I still haven't gotten back to the Bhajagovindam part. Um,
Mm.
I did last year when I went to India, but I need to listen to those tapes. But this one I was catching up every day during
I
daytime
was
even.
just wanted to share before we close regarding the seventh day. When I was looking at the sixth day, there was a little interruption, so I went back and I said, "Oh, we don't have the seventh CD, and I don't have the CD also with me in order to get it played and recorded." And these are what I have recorded from the last few times we watched Bhagavatam. So then I was thinking, I spent a good 45 minutes to almost an hour trying to figure out how to get the story of, the Avadhuta Gita and the Krishna's, the last hour of his thing. And I even wrote to Meenakshi ji. I said, this is what we are. We are stuck. We don't have the seventh. We want to complete the Bhagavat Saptah. So can you please guide? Can you do something? She has the CDs, but she doesn't have a CD player for her to record and send it across.
Send it. Yeah,
And
I
then
know.
suddenly, I was just sharing this with Manana when she came over the other day. It
Mm.
just occurred to me. It said, "Arey, you have the PDF, the book that Rajima is actually sourcing. She keeps that as the resource book. She says, why don't you just read the Avadhuta Gita from there and complete?" So the answer came. I mean, I had to do that little bit of effort probably, but the
Right.
answer was so simple. And I said, "Oh, why did I get so,
Yeah, but it about getting
flustered about it?" Yeah, the answer was
me
there,
too. I
just
was
like that.
I
So,
was looking on YouTube. I browsed it, but I couldn't figure out which one it is because there are so many of them in there.
yeah, so
I
the
knew which one.
answer was
So
he
I said,
shows the he
and
shows the
when I was browsing of that book, it was in English. Then I said, I want to look at one in Tamil also to see. Um, I found that same one, Kamala Subramanian. But thanks that you send the PDF
very
on
good.
that. Thank you.
So we'll just wind up. If any one of you can sing a Krishna bhajan, we'll wind up with the Krishna bhajan today. I know it's a little extended today. Yes, Percy ji.
That I think the conclusion of the rendition of Bhagavatam, the honor was bestowed upon you for all the service that rendered over the 2 years.
Oh no, really. I don't know. It just happened that way.
It was meant to be like that. After years, the conclusion had to come through you.
We are all following you, Dr. Brahmara.
Yes.
But we are all
We're all following
You are our
one
angel.
like-minded people. So we are all like in one herd,
Yeah, I think it's all his grace and blessings that have brought all of us together. And
obviously.
we just should feel so grateful for that. That's it. It is not
Thank you for your
any one
leadership.
single person's.
You
It
are
is not.
in the form
Basically,
of
you are the torch bearer. You are the torch bearer that
I
is
Yeah,
think
leading
lighting
us.
our path, and we are following you.
I think
when we are
someone had to
somebody
be
is
there.
lack.
It just so happens it is this body with this name. That's it. But otherwise, we're all one, isn't it? There is just one consciousness.
But with your push, that helps. When we sometimes we slack off a little bit, and then the time keeping up with the time and getting that discipline. That's what
Yeah,
the
and the focus
focus. Yeah.
that kept going. Very nice. Thank you so much for your leadership. I feel very safe.
Oh,
I'm sure everyone else feels the same.
it's all
We
at
had
the
to.
Krishnarpanamastu.
It is the same. We are all feeling the same.
Without any
So
arrogance and
fortunate.
any ego.
Yeah,
Without any arrogance and no ego. It is a very great virtue, Dr.
Quality.
Brahmaraj.
Yeah.
yeah.
One
Feeling so
good thing I
fortunate
want
and proud to be with you, Brahmaraji. Thank you so much.
I think
so
all that is Krishnarpanamastu at his lotus feet. All
Yeah.
of that. With
All
all
his
yeah, it's all
doing.
his grace.
Yeah.
Obviously.
One quick thing I want to tell you. Next week I'm going to India, then I won't be here for a month and a half. So hopefully I can catch up with you guys time to time.
Yeah. You can connect. India time will be 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
But
we'll begin.
if I'm
We'll
not
begin
there,
chapter 11 tomorrow.
Okay.
I will share the PDF chapter 11 and we'll start Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga tomorrow.
So from
right?
now on, it'll be only Gita, right? So
Yeah,
that
from now it will be Gita. We'll get back to Gita and
Okay.
continue, right?
Sure.
So
There
can
was one,
someone sing a Krishna bhajan?
yeah, there was one awareness and consciousness. Some PDF was there, or Nana ji was mentioning that
That was the Who Am I, no?
That's the
Who am I?
Okay, okay, that was it.
That was the
Okay.
Who Am I. We did the Who
Who
Am
am
I. And yeah.
Okay. One thing more, like I just wanted to share, like Krishna knew that the Kali Yuga will be coming, so it was how it was. It was destined that this Bhagavatam, this Gyan was to be given by Parikshit, like was given by Vyasa to Parikshit. So so that the people in the Kali Yuga, they know what is right and wrong, and this is how that he planned for the next yuga before leaving his body. In 1 week, you have gained so much of knowledge, knowing what is right and what is wrong, and this is very essential in this Kali Yuga. That people, that is why these Bhagavata Saptah, they keep on going around the year, more in this period, but it is so common in Kali Yuga that it is happening.
Jai Gurudev Brahmaraji have posted Swami Sukhabodhananda's recently he had this Bhagavad Saptah. It's very interesting. Everybody is interested can watch. It's a very small amount. And that amount goes for Annadanam. And he is a disciple of both Swami Chinmayananda and also the Swami Dayananda.
Swami Dayananda. Right.
Yes.
I know. Swami Sukhabodhananda was Nana's guru. In the sense, he learned, he did all his the Gita home study.
Yeah.
There was there were regular Gita classes and both my parents would attend Swami Sukhabodhananda. He used to be called Nityaji at that time. Before he became Sukhabodhananda Saraswati.
His presentation is simply fantastic. I enjoyed so much. I want all of you to benefit.
Please post it in the group. Yeah, please
I've
post
already
it.
posted, Brahmaraji.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Brahmaji, for the
I sing the Krishna bhajan.
Yeah, please sing. One of you sing. All the others can mute so that there's no disturbance. We'll wind up with a Krishna bhajan.
Are you going to do Achidam Keshavam?
Vanamali Radha Ramana Giridari Govinda. Vanamali Radha Ramana Giridari Govinda. Bhakta Hridaya Mandara Bhanukoti Sundara. Bhakta Hridaya Mandara Bhanukoti Sundara. Nanda Nanda Gopananda Narayana Keshava. Vanmali Radha Ramana Giridari Govinda. Vanmali Radha Ramana Giridari Govinda. Bhakta Hridaya Mandara Bhanukoti Sundara. Bhakta Hridaya Mandara Bhanukoti Sundara. Nanda Nanda Gopananda Narayana Keshava. Vanmali Radha Ramana Giridhari Govinda. Vanmali Radha Ramana Giridhari Govinda. Govinda Hari Govinda. Govinda Hari Hari Gopala. Govinda Hari Govinda, Radha Ramana Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda, Radha Ramana Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda, Govinda Hari Govinda. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you so much, Sumaji. We'll wind up here today. And we'll meet up again at the same time tomorrow. We'll begin chapter 11. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.